Hello, and welcome to the finale of I Can't Believe I'm Almost Done with Dark Souls 2. I'm your host, Niko, as always, they, them, and I'm joined as always by Sparkletone, they, them.
Born to Die, Majula is a fuck. I am trash undead, 300 million dead players worldwide.
Wow, I can't believe you said Bejeweled was a fuck. Rude.
This place has seen better days.
That's true. We also have Peregrine, they, them.
Let's turn this scholar of a first sin into a scholar of a first win.
Hell yeah. And finally, as always, Mo, he, him.
Majula is gorgeous. I will take no
Whoops.
statements to the contrary.
I really should have
At
said.
any point
I really should have said Drang Lake.
And
I will
any
accept.
point
I will
in-
accept the correction.
At
All right.
any point in Majula's history, and let's put on our gamer bibs, because it's time to dig in.
Finale
I think it's-
season, baby.
I think it's time to delete this and start the whole episode over again.
Wait, should I take the bib off then, or?
No, you're gonna need a bigger bib.
So last time we finished the third and final DLC.
Yeah, we
Yes.
are officially done with all of the DLC, even the
I was
optional
saying
stuff.
it's finale season. We need to go to the undead crypt and see a man about some crowns.
A man about crown.
If I can find it.
It's in the
Here.
dead place.
So yeah, one of the first things that someone said on episode number 1 that, oh, you know what? I need to level up a couple times. There's no sense in running around with 216,000 souls. One of the things that Mo said during episode number 1, which kind of led to a bunch of cursed food talk and bad food takes over the course of this entire series, was that ice cream is overrated. So I thought it would be fun to bring it back around and ask the question for y'all: what do you think is the most overrated food that exists?
Ice cream.
Now, all right, you want to just go? I also have some
muted?
thoughts, but you can talk. Yeah.
No, sorry. That was a bit, but go for it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. My answer is unchanged.
Okay. Well, you didn't say it was the most underrated or overrated food at the time. You just said it was overrated. But all right, I'll give you your space. But I want to start out to give everyone else a chance to think about a real answer.
Ouch.
And say that my answer is lobster. So lobster has basically one way of being prepared. It's boiled and then served plain with butter and salt, and it's extremely overpriced, and its texture is not really that great, and it doesn't really taste all that special. It's fine, but I think that it definitely fits the mold of overrated. Oh, that's right, I can break these. Okay.
I do have an answer, actually,
have-
now that I think about it.
So the thing about lobster is that it has this kind of almost like classist feel to it, in the sense that it is often very expensive to acquire because of how it is prepared and how you need to have either close access to it. Oh, I need to do all this shit, don't I?
It used
I
to be
mean, that's
the
like a-
cheapest
it
protein
used to
that
be-
you could acquire on the East
Yeah.
Coast.
Remembering that you need to do this stuff is going to be good warm up.
Yeah,
I do think that there is. I think that there are maybe. I'm allergic to lobster, so I have no horse in this race, except
Okay.
for the fact that I'm also from the East Coast, which does have the horse in the lobster race.
That seems not
I
fair
think-
to the lobsters.
I think that that's true. I think there are maybe more ways to prepare lobster than you're giving credit.
Well, like,
But-
okay, so something like lobster mac and cheese is what you're talking about then?
No, I mean
Because
like butter
Lobster
poached,
rolls.
roll,
Bisque.
salad.
I just don't think
Risotto.
that the
Like,
lobster
I don't
in
thi-
any
I
of
think-
those any of those
saying-
dishes actually adds anything to those dishes.
Lobster rolls
It
are
just-
transcendent. Thank you.
That's totally fair, but I just think that saying the only way to prepare it is to boil it is not maybe a fair.
Fuck, my sword's too big.
Again, I can't eat it. I don't know. I happen to think
Yeah.
that crab, which I can eat, unless it's soft shell crab, I think like king crab and like most crab things are never as good as I want them to be. Like I've had like a really transcendent crab cake now and then, but like not.
Yeah,
It's
There's
the
still that one
exception,
back
not the
there.
rule.
I think
But
in general,
I do like
yeah.
a soft shell crab.
Like crab and
I would
lobster,
definitely take a
like when you have
crab
to
over,
shell them.
Just crunching that crab.
Like anything you have to kind of like remove from its shell like that, I think is not as good as
Swords,
the
yeah.
effort would imply. But I don't know that I'd consider it overrated in that way. I think it's pretty good.
I think it's overrated in the sense that it is a food that people get when they want to spend a lot of money to
It's like a celebration
showcase
food,
that they,
right?
yeah, kind of, or like I think surf and turf as a thing exists so that way rich people can feel good about eating two expensive foods at the same time.
Well, I do have, on that note, I have two answers actually. One for the overrated in terms of like price to reality / quality, and then I have one that I just think is like a thing everyone wants to eat, but is never actually that tasty compared to other preparations. So on the sort of like dish people want to spend a lot of money on, I think single origin coffees are absolutely overrated.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, and this is partly informed by like the history around like fancy coffee and like why it's a luxury product now when it used to be like the drink of the working class. But I will happily I'll drink trash coffee any day of the week and be fine with it.
So,
yeah.
real quick, now that we're here, so here's Hollow Vendrick, and he's just kind of wandering around. The memory where we can go talk to Ghost Vendrick, who told us to go do the DLC, right there.
Okay.
He's gonna ramble at us for a little while because we went and got all 3 crowns, instead of coming back with each one. But
That's okay.
have a little convo.
I have to say this on stream, but we should go kill the dragon.
No.
See in the flames. Find the crowns and your own answers.
I thought we were real gamers.
The crowns hold the strength of lords.
Sometimes being a real gamer means knowing when to quit.
The crowns
Yeah,
have the strength of fires long past, but that's like the gas leak in the basement. That's not.
I said
think
that I
you-
would do it if someone donated 10K to Trans Lifeline and no one did it. So I'm not gonna go and do it if no one ponied up. You know, maybe I set that incentive a little high, but hey, you know, don't want to aim too low.
Technically, multiple groups of people donated 10K to Trans Lifeline.
Oh, I would
Yeah, but
love
no
to
one
harness the
individually
curse.
did it.
You
We're
didn't
trying to steal from
specify
the
that.
rich, Mo. We're trying to steal from the rich.
Seeker of fire.
What is acquiring a lot of money, but harnessing a curse?
Yeah, don't you know how much it costs to make an ancient dragon out of giants?
Seeker of fire. I see you've subdued another foul creature.
Yeah, he's got a little spiel about all of the
Spawn.
I don't know how much that
DLC,
costs.
but
Confounded quintessence of humanity.
Ooh, quintessence.
The abyss once had
I like his voice actor.
but then dissipated.
It's very raspy quality.
Traces
It's
of
got
its
like
existence.
vocal fry, but like next level.
Thirsting for power.
This is like the vocal fry you have when you put on the gamer bib.
My dear Chandra was one such fragment. A feeble
Oh.
thing that thirsted for power more than any other. Driven by incest.
King Vendrick, say what you will about him, not a wife guy.
Wow, that was a big cell phone there.
Came to be, and with it, disparity.
Nice rhyme.
Heat and cold, life and death.
Oh, I've heard that line before.
Dark was seen as a curse. Shadow is not cast, but born of fire. And the brighter the flame, the deeper the shadow. Inherit fire and harness the dark. Such is the calling of a true leader.
That's actually interesting. I never realized, but that y'all caught that he just quoted the intro to Dark Souls 1, right?
Yep.
Dark was seen as a curse. Shadow is not.
Okay, are we looping now?
Okay, yeah, we're good.
Such is
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Well.
a bunch of cryptic nonsense that he says. It's a little easier to pick apart what he's talking about when you come. If you were
One by
playing
one.
this as the DLC was coming out, and you were going to see him like one at a time with each of the crowns.
Okay.
But enough time with Ghost Vendrick. Let's go kill real Vendrick. This boy's gotta
Peregrine,
go.
Did you have any more thoughts on overrated foods and stuff?
Yeah, I was gonna say so the coffee is like the price one, but then the cook one is I think anything like grilled. I generally would prefer it be prepared in a non-grilled manner. Like it is very like a grilled steak to me is never going to be as good as like most other preparations of beef. So I guess I should sub-specify that it's like specifically large cuts of meat. I think you can grill small things like skewers like really well, but like you take a big hunk of something and you grill it, nuh-uh. Not actually that good. Like the 4th of July staple meal, nuh-uh.
What about grilled pineapple?
Peregrine puts their burgers in the microwave.
That's not a big like a burger is first of all, burger's a composite, not a continuous cut. Second of all, I have been on record as saying that I think burgers in general are overrated, so.
But what about pineapple, though?
Why would you do anything with pineapple other than just eat it fresh?
Grilled pineapple's amazing.
Yeah, grilled pineapple, you get some caramelization going on.
Put some red pepper on there and
gross.
What? You should find someone in your complex who has a grill and say, I need to do a food experiment with one of my pepper sons and a pineapple. And they'll say, yes, you can do that. And you put a little bit of pepper on one of those pineapples, maybe a little lime juice.
Mwah.
I think pepper. I think pineapple when it is not cold or like hot, warm fruit is one of the most repulsive things that I've eaten.
Okay.
Wow.
Actually, that's a good segue from my first question of the evening.
Wait, no, we didn't get everyone to answer that question first.
Oh, sorry.
So we gotta stay on topic. I still have more to rant about lobsters, but I'll give you all a chance to.
Like, what more
up.
do you want to say about lobster?
Yeah,
I think it sucks that they are put into a pot of boiling water while they're alive.
Now, have I told you about the lobster anesthetic on this series yet?
I think
you
so,
have not.
Actually.
I definitely talked about it on some stream at some point.
Maybe my Megaquarium stream?
Like, it definitely came up somewhere. It may have been in the same point
maybe.
stream or something.
Yeah.
I remember linking to, like, someone's thesis on it. Anyway, there are humane ways to euthanize the lobster pre-cooking, but no one does them, so I agree that it is garbage that people, like, don't properly treat the lobster.
But doesn't that kind of just get into the kind of conversation of, like, and if I'm wrong on this, then tell me, but isn't that kind of the like line drawing about like why aren't we all vegans, and it's because we all make our judgments on that stuff?
Listen, I don't really care about the
that
lives of animals, but I do think it's kind of fucked up if we just
care about the deaths but not the lives.
I mean, if you're gonna eat it, that's fine, but like don't be a jerk about it,
Yeah, like it is like kind of torturing the animal, right? And I guess we should say content warning for this whole conversation.
Yeah.
For anyone, sorry if this has been something that is uncomfortable to listen to. Maybe tune out for the next few minutes. But I don't know. I am a person who generally like doesn't have a whole lot of qualms about a lot of foods, and I feel like, you know, like putting a lobster or a crab alive into a pot of boiling water is a line that I draw, and everyone's gonna have.
It also
different
makes the
places where they
flavor
draw
worse.
those lines.
It also just like objectively, if you stress something out in that way, like it correlates with off.
Okay,
tastes.
but like assume it was everyone followed the humane method of lobster simmering or whatever. Like, is it just that aspect of it, which admittedly is not great because it's so widespread, this like, you know, not best practices cooking method, but I don't know. I stopped eating pork recently for reasons, and it's just interesting to see where different people's lines are, I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like these are my own personal like lines. I'm not trying to like call out anyone who eats lobster as like a you know, person who doesn't think about this kind of thing or is a bad person in any way. Like, there are probably worse things that I don't know about or don't think about, and maybe I should. But that one to me is very obvious to me and is like very cut and dry. So, and yeah, and then the other thing I was saying earlier was just like the notion of adding lobster to something like lobster mac and cheese. I find is like a thing that is. We're just gonna take regular mac and cheese, and then we're gonna put lobster in it, so that way our bougie restaurant can charge $18 for it instead of charging what mac and cheese actually costs. And I think that sucks too.
I had a hot take about mac and cheese recently. That was mac and cheese is great for the first bite and only ever okay past that.
I don't know about that. At the restaurant I worked at, you know, many years ago, they did a lobster eggs Benedict, and it was awesome. I wish I could have been able to eat it. It was just like so good.
But like, surely there's something else that they could have used instead that would have not been something that they could have easily marked up a very high amount.
Well, they were doing it instead of Canadian bacon or whatever the hell you put on eggs Benedict. So it was
I'd prefer lobster on an eggs Benedict.
It was specifically that, like, you were paying, you know, $18 for an eggs Benedict or whatever because it had lobster on it. Or if you didn't want that, you could get the like waffles that didn't have lobster on them for like $11. Or pancakes, I don't remember. We had some kind of waffle pancake situation. French toast, maybe? Probably French toast. You cook that on a hot plate.
So, for my part, I don't feel like I have a good answer for overrated food because my, texture issues make my relationship with food so strange that, like, I'm aware of how idiosyncratic my, like, eating habits are. And so I don't have a good sense of what's rated versus overrated versus, like, this is one of the, like, dozen things I can stand, and I will be adventurous at really nice restaurants, but otherwise my diet is very homogenous.
Well, what's something that you think people go on and on about all the time, and you don't necessarily think is bad? You can eat it, but you just think it's okay. Like, it's not really that special, and you don't think it
like
deserves
mashed potatoes.
Well, before I get to answer that, you figured out the thing I mentioned when we were talking earlier that's in the wiki for this fight. For people watching,
mashed potatoes?
Yes. The boss entries in Souls game wikis, especially the Fextra Life ones, tend to have a section where they just kind of list the, you know, half a dozen moves that the boss has, and they'll give you like a basic way to dodge it, and then there will be a section after that where they go into more detail. Yes, back to the bonfire. Based on what kind of build you have. I was looking at the one for our buddy Vendrick here earlier. He has 4 moves, which sounds about right. And the counter/dodge tactic for all of them is listed as merely left leg. Because as you figured out, Niko, if you just kind of stay like to his side, he kind of can't deal with it.
Yeah, he seems to just always swing from the right to left a lot in a way that like I didn't even have to dodge roll. I kind of just was able to scoot and knock it in.
He's a sad zombie. It makes sense.
I would like to refine my ice cream is overrated take.
But yeah,
Okay.
if you're not real quick, if you're not doing enough damage, we could go fight a dragon, but thankfully we don't need to. Where we want to go after this is the Shrine of Amana. Second bonfire there.
Oh, do me a favor though. At some point on your way there,
yeah.
maybe since it's the last episode, we can equip those radiant life gems.
Up 2 rows.
I do have them equipped. They're right here. 57. I keep skipping them.
Oh,
There you go.
I think
you
I
had
equipped them
so
after
many
I was,
that I didn't even realize.
I was getting
pulling out all the
frustrated
stops.
last week when we were doing the final boss of the 3rd DLC, and I was like, you know what? It's time to chow down on some Radiant Life Gems.
Yep.
Okay, second bonfire, you said?
Yep.
So are we going to that door that we haven't been able to open this whole time?
Sure are, and
Okay.
you're going to need to use an effigy.
That's fine. I've got a million of them.
Oh, there's also the wait.
Oh,
You need an effigy for.
Gotta be human for
Oh.
this.
Okay.
Wait.
So if I die, then I have to keep using them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you could
You
like.
better
Well, you can
put on
use
a
it at the door.
Yeah, you can. I think you can use it at the door. Like we don't need to like reload the zone once we're human. But
Okay, well,
Better
I
put
already used
on.
there's not like a ton of dudes between us and the door. It's just these like first half dozen dinguses and the dragon.
And the
rider.
Dragon Rider.
You'd better put on a shield.
I mean,
Nope.
you've
No
you've
shields,
killed
no
dragons at
masters.
this point.
So what I was gonna say about ice cream is that I guess my hate isn't against ice cream, although I do think ice cream is overrated. It is that any store that has a line out the door, the food is never as good as the line implies it is. And in Brooklyn, you get that with like mediocre ice cream restaurants. It's like, oh, I need some butternut chip. I need it.
Yeah,
on
we
a
have those here in
Sundae.
Seattle as well.
I mean, one
and
of
it's just
my
like, you sheep, go drink your milk.
one of my things I considered saying but scrapped because it wasn't specific enough, and I don't think there would be much disagreement, was like anything that exists for Instagram more than for eating.
That's similar to what I'm about.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
My
Like,
complaint is.
because the last time I had that experience was like, I think I already talked about the like souffle pancake thing that I had.
Yeah,
but
that does sound
just
good
like-
to me. Still, I
it
remember
sounds
talking about
good, but it's not. It's not like worth the $10 or something that I paid for it. Like, it was very one note. It was like a one weird trick kind of thing, and like I only needed one bite, and the rest of the components of it were like mediocre at best.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like if you got like just an actual chocolate souffle for like $8 or $7, you would have been so much more happy than getting
totally.
like a bad souffle pancake.
Well, and I'm actually grateful
Or
that
a
I
good souffle
never
pancake
had.
even.
I never had a cronut until I think when I was in Tokyo this year. And at that point, it just cost the same amount as a normal donut. And it was great because there was no line and, I could just get
Yeah.
it whenever. But, like, I
They're
would not
also-
have lined up for it.
I also don't think they're that great. Like I think donuts are pretty overrated. If they didn't come in a box of 12,
Now, hold up a bit here because I can think of few things that you can get for as low a cost as a donut that are as good per unit price as a donut.
you can get like most pastries for the same price that you would get.
No,
Are you talking like
a
a Dunkin'
croissant?
Donut?
I'm just
What are you
saying,
talking
like,
about?
no,
Like, no, are you
like I
talking about
grew
a-
up near a
Hold
donut
on.
shop.
Are you talking about a Portland donut or a Dunkin' Donut? Because Dunkin'
I'm
Donuts
talking
cost like
about-
34 cents and are made out of like
Oh, Dunkin'. Okay, hold up. Dunkin'
reconstituted
Donuts.
cardboard.
Dunkin' Donuts are garbo, but
Yes. So you're talking about a Portland, like a $4 Portland donut, like a
no,
nice
I'm talking about like
Portland
you go to a
donut.
Safeway or whatever the Safeway equivalent in supermarket. Like a supermarket donut.
We have
is
Safeway on
fine.
the East Coast. Is it though? I feel like donuts have a lot of variance for like how soon you've gotten them since they came out of the donut cooker.
I mean, they're definitely better fresh, but like I loved just a maple bar, like a Safeway maple bar. Delicious.
At least in New York, you could get a chocolate croissant for the same amount of price that you would get a donut for,
but like a maple bar at Safeway is like $2.
You can get a chocolate croissant for like $3, $2.50.
It's not gonna be a good chocolate. Well,
I don't know what a maple bar is. First, and second.
Oh, so you don't like donuts because you've never had like just normal ass not Dunkin' Donut?
Is a maple bar in a circle or is it?
No, it's a
long.
Oh, do not.
So it's not a donut; it's a pastry.
Good God. I
think we're finally hitting the part of this conversation Mo was carefully trying to get us to.
I didn't even realize Peregrine just did the like defense attorney showing their hand. Exhibit A, it's a line, and I'm like, okay, case closed. It's not a donut.
What part of the word donut requires it to be a circle?
The whole word. Literally, it's part of the definition. Donut is... Actually, you know what? Let's go to the definition.
Fucking Merriam-Webster that shit for me.
Yeah, this room is where King Vendrick kept his donut. That's his soul. That's his soul.
That's the donut hole.
Upstairs.
That's the...
There's a little...
Should I look at the soul or no?
That's the munch...
We'll look
that's
at both
the
of the
Vendrick
things
munchkin.
together. There's one more item.
Okay.
I never knew that donut holes were called munchkins.
Okay, so Wikipedia, a donut,
I
British
they were called
English,
Timbits.
or donut, American English, is a type of deep fried confection. We know all this. Donuts are usually deep fried from a flour dough, and typically either ring-shaped or a number of shapes without a hole and often filled, but can also be ball-shaped. Other types of batters can be used, and various toppings and flavorings are used for different types. It's a circular confectionery. Look at this.
It said other shapes. You just read me the definition that supported my argument.
The first thing was ring shape. Look at this.
This is the content I crave.
Look at this picture of donuts. How many of them are circles? There are like 3 non-circles in this picture.
Those are the bars.
Like that's a fucking maple bar right there.
There are like 3 There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 non-circles in a picture of like 30 donuts.
That's a large fraction. That is a statistically significant.
It's not a fraction you'd bet on.
For what?
Anything, literally anything. I'm not taking any. Unless I'm getting like 1,000 to 1 odds, I'm not taking a 5 in 30 bet.
But that's how odds work, Mo. That's explicitly how odds work.
Yeah, but you're not getting 1,000 maple bars for 1 donut.
Because that wouldn't be. Wait, are you? Oh my God. I'm gonna define a monut as
1,000 donuts.
As when you shoot for the target to hit it in the center, but the center of it's just a hole.
What makes a king? Some say that it is birthright, while others call it destiny. Oh, so it's Fire Emblem versus Destiny. I gotcha. Perhaps it is not important
as long as the houses in Fire Emblem.
As long as the king's name serves to unite his people.
Wow.
So
this person hasn't met many kings, have
That's
they?
my hot take.
I'll be right back. I've got some dog drama happening.
I
also agree
they ate
with
some
my
donuts.
Takes. Yeah.
I always kind of really liked that King Vendrick, he put his soul and like his gear in this room and locked it so that you could only get in here once he's dead and if you're human. There's like we can feather out. We need to go see Ghost Vendrick one more time.
Oh, life regarding good. That's a good way to tell you.
That's a good hint. Yeah, rate that.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to go have one more brief chat with Ghost Vendrick, and then we are
Oh, I thought you were going to say we need to have one more brief chat with Mo, because I have...
Oh, we will be having that as well.
That's what I call the bar exam, and Mo just failed it.
I'm saying that I would take a bagel over a donut any day of the week.
I'm not going to fight that, because a bagel's fucking good.
Yeah.
I had a bagel today. Not even like a good bagel, and it was still good, you know? Like, it's hard. This might be a controversial statement, but I think it's... I was going to say it's hard to fuck up a bagel. It's not. I've had like the prepackaged like mass-produced grocery store bagels. Those are not good. But like any place that is just like a cafe and has anything close to a fresh bagel, still going to be pretty good if you toast it.
Oh, I was going to say about Vendrick's little hidey room. It always reminded me of one of the old Sinbad the Sailor stories. Involves him going up this against this like sultan type guy, who when Sinbad tries to kill him, it doesn't work because the sultan guy had sort of magically removed his heart and kept it at the top of a tower guarded by a bunch of monsters. Which feels very Dark Souls-y.
Wow. Sparkle, I didn't know you played Fate Grand Order.
Fortunately, I have not fallen down that rabbit hole. But I am sure that Sinbad the Sailor is in Fate Grand Order.
I actually think it's just a very, very bad iteration of Scheherazade, which is unfortunate.
That works too.
Not in this case.
Very little you would say
don't like
about
to talk
Fate
about
Grand
it.
Order would surprise me. Is how I will
That's
put it.
fair. That's fair.
The
what
other
are
thing
the least overrated foods? I'm kind of curious. Because now I'm thinking about it. Like a bagel's not overrated, right? Like bagels are good.
I've definitely met some New Yorkers who have
bagels
some
are
pretty
pretty
strong
overrated.
opinions about bagels.
Oh, okay, but if we talk about any food, New Yorkers are gonna like fuck it up. Because New
That's
York
true.
opinions on food are
You can't have the best unless you come here.
That's like LA people and Mexican food. It's like it's too much. It's a parody of itself.
I also remembered there was something else I wanted to say on the topic of lobster earlier, which is that like it kind of bugs me how much like there's this kind of like that a lot of people have toward crawfish, which are basically just little lobster.
Wait, people get Wait, who gets wigged out by crawfish?
I've definitely met a lot of people who are.
I am done with people. This is my. This is my hill to die on. Anyway,
I do have to say, Niko.
Yeah.
You've been really fixated on lobster. It sounds like it's really got its claws in you tonight.
You know, well,
I set a standard for this show.
Such a low bar.
How many episodes?
You can't even clear the low bar.
That was the other bar exam that Mo failed to clear tonight.
So this comp was a little more important than the other one.
I think I might have to call claw enforcement.
A cab.
Yep, all claws are bad.
And dark will become a curse. Men will be free from death, left to wander eternally. Dark will again be ours, and in our true shape, we can bury the false legends of yore. Only, is this our only choice? Seeker of fire, coveter of the throne. Seek strength.
Oh no.
No, this is good. This is cool.
Just gonna put it on our crown.
On my crown.
Yeah.
So all of our donuts glow now, and if we wear them,
nuts.
we cannot go hollow or get cursed.
Oh, nice.
Ghost Vendrick had some means of dealing with the curse, but Nashandra fucked it up? I'm not sure.
I'm glad that we got that literally when we are at the end of the game.
So is Nashandra
here's
Washandra?
the other thing real quick. Not only do you get it at the end of the game, it goes away when you kick over into NG+. Like, it doesn't stay, because they want to reset hollowing as a game mechanic. They can't have it stick with you.
So it's just a story mechanic then.
Yeah, it's just a story beat and like a cool cutscene and this like question mark as to whether he cured the curse or not. We're going to the castle. We need to go see a lady about a chair.
Will this like start basically the final boss sequence?
This is it.
Okay.
This is all I got. Unless you want to go fight a dragon.
Would you say that we are currently ahead of schedule for tonight then?
We can still go see the dragon fight once we're done with the other stuff.
If you need filler,
nope, I already. Oh, this is the wrong one.
I have plenty of material with which to educate Mo on some deeply misguided preconceptions about both puns and baked goods.
Do not get into it. Paradigm.
Although I guess a donut would be a fried good, not a baked good. Anyway, point is.
Who was the person in the room on the floor?
Oh. Did anyone else have any like food thoughts? Samantha.
Oh, it's Samantha. My good friend.
I know Mo also had something else he wanted to ask, so probably finish up that topic and move on.
I just think bagels are a little. I do think bagels are a little overrated.
Okay, that's fair.
I think when you say that everything's overrated, then that means that you just think like
it means you're a New Yorker. We know this.
No, the only two. Excuse you both. The only two things I've said are overrated are ice cream shops and bagels.
I think you said donuts were also overrated.
Wait,
donuts are sweet
you've
bagels.
pivoted from ice cream to ice cream shops. I just want the record
donuts
to
are
show.
Sweet bagels.
Oh right. Oh wait, I do.
They're both boiled in oil. They're sweet bagels.
Wait, so they're boiled?
No. Donuts are fried. Bagels are boiled. They're both cooked in hot liquid, is what I meant to say. And they're both ringed instruments. No, we're not all. They're both. They're the same thing. They're just a hyperdense carb thing that it's just not doing it. It's just not.
Only some donuts are hyperdense.
It's not committing to the promise that it's not fulfilling the promise it brings you.
Whoa.
You know what does?
What is the promise?
A good dessert. Or a good breakfast that gives you energy and doesn't make you feel like a lump.
I always feel like a lump.
I am I ate oh my god, like a good bagel.
So Niko, before you go through this fog door, I want to stop real quick and you can walk up to the door. Just don't go through it. Because I have a question.
Okay.
I have a dessert that's not overrated.
Carefully.
And it is those super light Asian cheesecakes that come in the single serving packages. They are so good. I love them so much.
So that's an NPC. That's going to be an NPC. It's Ben Hart, our buddy Ben Hart.
Ben Hart. Yeah. Hey.
And the head of
Girl.
Okay, so
cheesecake.
So, we just got kind of a reminder that Nashandra was a shard of the dark who, I guess, became a lady and somehow became Vendrick's queen. And it's been pretty clear for a while that she is bad news on account of how we found a floor-to-ceiling painting of her that's 12 feet tall, and it curses you when you look at it. When we last saw Nashandra, she was a nice tall lady sitting in a chair in an area we couldn't get to and kind of made fun of us. So what do you think's on the other side of that fog door?
Other side of what?
Other side of the fog door. What do you think this will be like?
Wife goals.
God, I have no idea.
Let's find out.
I remember that the Emerald Herald said that Nashandra was going to come for us. So I think it's going to be nothing. It's going to be the throne, and then Nashandra is going to show up, just like Riku.
Yeah, because we beat the Throne Watcher and Defender, and then teleported out before the cutscene we're about to see.
Okay. Well, let's watch a cutscene.
So who did the Defender and Watcher? Did they work for Vendrick?
Yes.
Ah. Oh.
Sorry, I was having bad connection, but now it's good.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but this is not how I remember her looking when she was sitting in her throne.
I mean, listen, the hot liquids do a number on us all, you know?
You have one too many bagels.
Oh my god, that's on my list of phrases that would set my heart aflutter next to worthy of my grace.
Well, she just really, she's only interested in us because we can, bridge the gap between this side of the room and the throne. But yeah, Nishandra's bad news. She gotta go.
Oh,
and
that's,
taking something. Doing decent damage, though.
She is literally too hot to handle.
Quite the goth, GF.
Too close, too
we're doing good
close
damage
for comfort.
Mo, did you want to ask your question while we're dying?
Oh,
and...
yeah, I have a question that I'm sure will not breed any discourse at all. What is more salad, fruit salad or potato salad?
God, we already went over this.
Did we?
Yeah, we talked about salad for like 2 whole episodes.
Well, I don't, you know.
You don't remember
think-
that?
That one was
No,
a
I do
person. That one was a
I
person.
do remember it,
Let's see
but I
their fashion.
feel like we
Yeah, I'm
should.
gonna kill this.
Is a bowl of cherries a fruit salad?
No.
I think
Actually, here's a better one. Because you're right, we did.
What if there's 2 types of cherry?
Belle.
Are
Oh,
the
she's got a
cherries
crown, too.
de-seeded or not?
It's
Sorry,
no,
what
they're
was-
not. They've got pits.
If
What
they
was
are
the question?
pitted, it's a salad. If they are not pitted, it's not a salad. It's a bowl of cherries.
What if they're dark pitted?
That's not I don't know what that means.
I'm sorry, Sakurai. I tried.
I think that both potato salad and fruit salad are both equally valid salads.
Valid.
I'm confused by the concept of more of a salad.
Tune
Yeah.
in.
And you
tune in-
either are or are not a salad.
Yeah,
You cannot
you've
be
either
like
crossed the
half a
threshold into
salad.
saladdom, or
What is the liminal space between salad and?
Tune in next week for
I'm-
a new podcast.
The salad
Valid
instrumentality
Salad.
project
the
will-
salad binary. Well, was that all you had?
No, I've got more. Here's one. What is the correct way to put on socks and shoes? Sock, sock, shoe, shoe, or sock, shoe, sock, shoe?
Sock, sock, shoe, shoe.
I don't understand the question.
Do you put on both your socks first, or do you go sock, shoe, shoe?
I don't put my socks on even in the same room as I put my shoes on. So
you
yes.
go
Yeah,
sock, sock, shoe, shoe.
Yeah.
I'm wearing socks right now.
Who carries their socks over to the like door where they put their shoes on and then puts their socks on right when
I
they're about
will
to put their
say,
shoes
When
on?
I'm
My
going for a
washer
run, I'll
and
do that
dryer-
sometimes, but usually I'm sock, shoe, shoe as well.
My washer dryer's right by the door where I put my shoes on, and sometimes, by which I mean most of the time, because let's be real here, I'm like in my late 20s and very, very lazy. I will just pull socks fresh out the dryer and then like put them on in the same area I put my shoes on, but even then, sock, shoe, shoe.
You want to know? I have a small confession to make. That is the least favorite thing that I do for both my fiance. Not least favorite, but a thing that I've done for multiple roommates since my early 20s and my fiance, and everyone calls me on it, and I refuse to change. Which is, if someone leaves dishes in the sink that I have to load into the dishwasher, but the dishwasher is clean, I will remove only enough dishes to fit the new dishes in, and then run it again.
No.
What the?
Wait,
Why?
Lazy.
are you a demon? Wait, but you just but they're clean.
Yeah.
But
You're wasting
washed
water
the
and
oth-
energy.
But if I'm gonna do the new wash anyway, what does it matter if I take the things out or not?
Not if there's only like 3
Oh,
dishes.
so, okay.
But if I need
If you're
those
gonna
new
run
things,
the-
like soon, I'm gonna wash
Just
it.
hand wash them. Just use your hands.
If it's like a hat. This is what I get for being vulnerable on stream. I just
I
get
can't
attacked.
believe
You did.
this.
You did say that everyone told you this was fucked up. So
Wait, whoa. I vaguely recall something about
Bye, Chandra.
wasting. Oh, wait, is that's?
did I just beat Dark Souls 2?
No.
Or is there more?
Oh.
I'm not
So the
wasting
glowy
water.
balls that she was placing around drain your health and cause curse, but not for us. But who's this?
Oh right, we don't have the curse thing.
Sounds like Aldia.
Not one of them stood here. As you,
We beat all those DLC boys.
Oh, now we sin it.
you conqueror of adversities.
That's my name.
Give us your answer.
I can't.
Yeah, there's no dialogue prompt here. Fucking go
Oh.
time. He's not here to talk.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so Nishandra is the final boss of the base game of Dark Souls 2. Aldia was added because he is the scholar of the first sin. Hence
I see.
the name of this edition of the game.
Also, Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, he's just kind of like a big pile
Oh
of
jeez.
branches.
Oh, he doesn't
Oh,
take
that's-
much damage. That's
as
not
a
good at
scholar, maybe it should not be surprising that.
See, here's the thing. The dishes are gonna get done anyway, so I don't see how.
But the
leaving
amount of
dishes
it-
in-
all. There we go.
No, it's not. The issue is not leaving the dishes in. The issue is that you're essentially running a full dishwasher cycle for like a very small section of the dishwasher.
But what if
load.
I'm doing a quick wash cycle?
I don't know what make.
Like 20 minutes of water.
But then but the quick
That's still wasteful.
but that's 20 that's a
compared to
long
just washing
time!
2 plates with
20 minutes.
It's not 2 plates. It's like I don't feel like unloading the fork thing ever.
If there are,
Just
if-
you know what?
if-
Just fill the sink with dishes.
All of
at
our-
that
if there are
point.
all of our
enough dishes
forks
in
and
the
knives.
dishwasher that you are not going to empty it entirely, then you don't need to put enough dishes in to do a full load.
No,
I think
no.
we figured out what
so,
the first sin is here, and it's Moe's.
So these are the things I don't usually unload when I do this. It's mostly cups. It's mostly the top rack that I won't unload. Like I have a full slate of cooking material, but the cups, the drinking vessels are fine, and I will never unload the forks and knives, ever, because they're just all the forks and knives might as well live in the dishwasher.
They're the socks of the dish world.
So how do you eat? With your hands
You
only?
you take the clean one out of the dishwasher, and then my fiance takes the rest of them out and puts them back. And then
Like
we
a
go from
normal
there.
person.
Oh, Mo, what are we gonna do with you?
Listen, everybody's got the things that they like to clean and the things they don't like to clean. I don't like
No
to
one
put,
likes
But
to
most
clean-
of us have the shame to know when
I don't
it's
like
wrong.
to put dishes
That's right.
away, and I don't like to fold laundry. There's a pattern
I
there. I
okay,
do
no one likes to fold laundry.
really enjoy
Oh
mopping.
no!
I do really
What?
enjoy mopping. Go do some push-ups. Really
job,
enjoy
Aldia.
mopping, vacuuming.
Do I have to fight Nishandra again, or is it just all?
No,
I like
no.
anything with a
the 3
visual
fights that take place
clean.
in this room are individual.
I like
They are
wiping
not
down
a chain.
I like wiping down a counter. That's a good type of clean for me. The clean that I don't like is like putting
You think
dishes
Aldia
back.
likes to wipe down a counter?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't really enjoy organization as cleaning. I prefer like sanitization.
Like, Aldia has this big, messy science lab. Do you think he has, like, a janitorial staff?
Oh yeah, definitely. You saw Aldia's Keep. That's what all the
What the
that's
big,
what
what the
mimics are
big
for.
trolls are for.
No, that's what the little guys.
Oh, okay.
With the sphere heads.
Love to have a sphere head.
Those are definitely Aldia's cleaners.
All right, Mo, hit me with another question. Unless you want to keep being hoisted about your dishwasher habits.
I don't feel like I've been hoisted at all.
No,
So,
you've been moisted.
Yes.
For 20 minutes, unnecessarily.
Okay, now I feel like I'm a little hoisted. Okay, here's a question. If you could take two known like big franchises and just mush them together in a game, what franchises would you take, and what type of game would it be? So give me your like best.
This is the kind of open-ended question that you have to like prep me before the show because I'm not going to be able to think about this and do this.
Finale,
I mean,
baby.
I'd say the answer
There's
is
no-
Toho and anything, but those games already exist.
What type of Toho game doesn't exist? I would play Toho XCOM.
FromSoft cooking simulator.
I am willing to bet someone has made some approximation of Toho XCOM. But
What?
But I guess to clarify, they haven't probably made like a full version of that, so that's fair. That's fair. I should answer this sincerely. I think I know I've seen some screenshots of like a Toho Dark Souls experience. That's not actually a good answer though. I wouldn't really want that one. Okay. This is now getting trickier than I wanted it to be. Toho Fire Emblem would be good.
Yeah.
I would really love a Toho Fire Emblem game.
I would enjoy a Pokemon Pyre game that had the persistent management aspect of it, as well as the just kind of,
So you mean like
somewhat
the
boring
mechanics
turn-based
of
combat.
Pyre? The mechanics of Pyre with the characters and settings of Pokemon, or the other way around?
No, yeah, it would be a Pyre type game, but you play
Every
as
time
a-
you finish a gym, you have to release one of your Pokemon.
you play
The
as a
gyms would actually
Pokemon
be
type
gyms, and you'd have sports
person.
tournaments.
Yes, like I just don't. I would like. It's easier.
So the
for
mini
me
games to
say-
Pokemon Stadium.
It's easier for me to say Monster Rancher because that's where my heart is, but other people.
No,
resonate
just say
with-
Monster Rancher. People can Google.
But people resonate with Pokemon more, and there are small differences. Most of
Since
which,
when are you one to compromise on your beliefs and ideals?
when I'm trying to win people over,
Since when have you successfully ever won someone over?
multiple times.
They've got you there.
Multiple times. I think I've got them there. I've successfully won people over at least 4 times. I can't name them right now, but they've happened.
And it feels like 4, one for each of the Lord Souls, you know?
Yeah,
What about that time where you were trying to claim that a maple bar wasn't a donut?
And then proceeded to link
It's-
me a picture that includes like
It's
an
a
equivalent.
bar. It's not a donut by the name.
Oh my
It's
god,
in
I'm sorry.
your
I said
donuts
anything.
Like,
picture.
hey, remember when that shank was a steak? No, it's like it can't be that.
Wait,
It's like a leg can't be a steak. A bar can't be a donut. A donut has to have a circle or be the imaginary. A donut
You're not gonna
exists-
you're not gonna win this
A
one.
donut
You're just
is
not.
a flat circle, right?
No,
So,
a
a
donut
donut-
is depends
donut
on the
either-
batter that is used and how
No,
it is made.
A donut either is a flat circle, it is a ring, or it is the imagined sphere that would happen when you cut away the center of the flat circle and then mold it with your hands into a perfect gross little sphere.
Fuck you. What is this? It's like donut hole slander out of nowhere.
How do you
so
think donut
Aldia
holes
is
get
a
made?
donut.
The donut hole defender logged on.
So the
Aldi
dark
is
side
more
is
of
a donut.
Salad. Like if you look at what is going on here, this is like a messy potato salad boss.
Yeah.
This is just a messy potato. There's no salad. This is a pre-salad potato.
The scholar of the first starch.
It's been left in the drawer or the cabinet or the cellar for way too long. It's grown some weird
Aldi's mad
tendrils.
now.
I got another question for you. What movie do you wish got a AAA video game treatment? I have a goofy one, but I'm going to say because it was the first thing that popped into my head, and it is The Usual Suspects in the style of A Way Out.
I wish there was a legit good Fast and the Furious game, not the sort of like crappy recent Need for Speed games.
That would be rad.
I want a Mandy film in the style of Wolfenstein.
Wait, a Mandy game, you
Or
mean?
sorry, a Mandy game.
I
yes.
want a Wolfenstein
like with the...
film in the style of Mandy.
This is
that's better.
Give me Chris Pine playing Terror Billy, please.
This is kind of a cop-out answer just because it's one that I've given and talked about before, I think, even on this show. But I want the Yakuza team to make a Diamond is Unbreakable game.
You have talked about that. I would play that. I have a good one.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
I would like in the style of Yakuza, Big Hero 6.
That could be cute.
Like, kind of splitting the difference between Kingdom Hearts and Yakuza in terms of like, you're just going around this weird like Tokyo. What is it in Big Hero? It's just like Tokyo, Frisco or something like that.
I forget the exact name. But
it's like some portmanteau like that. Let me look it up so I don't get it wrong. Big Hero 6, San Francisco.
Just gonna wait this one out.
Yep.
I'm not greedy.
Gotta be patient. He's got.
I probably could have done it here, but
the big spell. It's bad times.
Yeah.
You've pretty much got this though.
Yep. It seems like waiting for the fire effect to go away, which seems to reduce Aldi's damage taken, seems to be the move here. It's been working pretty well for me. So.
Yeah. This fight can be really fun to co-op, just because it can be hard to guess who he's gonna shoot at.
Get a hit. Nope.
Okay. Not too scary.
Yeah.
Oh, I have another good one. I have another question for you. This one's nice and vague. And it's interesting in its construction. What did video games do in the past that they don't do anymore?
Get beaten by Niko.
Yeah.
This is the last game. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thanos.
But the question remains. What do you want? Tell me. Light, dark, or something else entirely?
Choice time.
I want gray.
When
50
Dark
Shades.
Souls 2 first came out, it only had one ending. This version adds a second. You can step over to the glowy and go sit in the big chair, or you can walk out of the boss fog.
Oh, so this is making the choice right here, just
This
like
is the
lighting the
choice.
bonfire.
Wow.
Okay.
Either select to go over there, or you select to go out the door.
All right, so let's talk this out, because I'll be honest, like one of the I've loved doing this series, but I think that probably the thing that has suffered most for me is my retention of the story and the lore of this game. For doing this over 9 months and also while talking over a lot of it and stuff. So I feel like I've been getting hints in bits and pieces here and there that like dark is something that a lot of people think is a bad thing, but actually is good. And I don't know where that comes from. I just sort of like have vague recollections of various conversations. It may just be with certain people and factions that like
humans
pro
are
dark.
born of the dark, though. Like that's how we got here.
Okay.
This is also interesting because I never beat this game, so I'm also like coming to this fresh. Like I didn't know that this was the choice at the end, so I definitely have thoughts if you would like to hear them.
Yeah, let's talk it out. We've got like an hour left for our usual recording time.
Well, let's say
thought
40
we were gonna
minutes because
go
the last
long.
20, we got to fix the donut thing at some
Oh,
point.
no.
We have another boss left,
We're
which is
gonna have
Mo.
a whole nother series where we can talk about donuts the whole time. So, but please. share
Oh,
your
we're doing a
thoughts on
Donut
it.
County playthrough?
Yeah.
I definitely like the one thing I kind of have gone back and forth on like which Souls entry is my favorite game. And part of what I like about Dark Souls 2 is it has, I think, the clearest messaging in terms of like anti-imperialist sentiment. In that we spent a lot of time going into Vendrick's memories and past and seeing the follies of kings specifically. Which makes me disinclined to sit on any throne.
Yeah, I share that as well. Like I think that if I'm to believe that sitting on the throne continues the cycle of like people not understanding the state of the universe and just being another monarch who keeps everyone unaware of the truth, and that kind of sucks to me. If I've read that correctly. Sparkle or Mo,
I think
you're
that's
more familiar with this than I am.
a fair-ish read. Like there's more stuff going on, but definitely the idea that like you don't want to be the same. You don't want to perpetuate the cycles that you've seen proven.
I mean that's Dark Souls, right?
Sitting on the chair is
rekindling.
Attempting to do another cycle. Leaving, maybe you'll find some other way to deal with the curse, but
where's Kvath?
Here's what you do. You go to the Iron Keep.
Or Kath,
you take
sorry.
a bonfire ascetic.
Unfortunately, we cannot do that right now. If we try to feather out, the game will load us back in this arena until we have made a choice.
You eat the bonfire
Dang.
ascetic.
Oh, respect. Can we try it?
Go ahead.
No, I'm good. I trust you.
Okay.
That seems like,
what if I did push-ups? I'll do push-ups.
as someone
Nope.
whose Outer Wild save got eaten during a save state, I'm like very like in a very late 90s mindset. Like, oh my wild, I lost 2 hours of Wild Arms progress. I'm gonna put the game down forever. Tempting fate with saves.
I also think that, so I didn't realize at the end, I guess, spoilers for Dark Souls 1, there is a similar choice at the end of that game. And I didn't realize, I think it did that really smart thing that I, like, some games have been doing more and more these days, which is giving the player a choice without making it obvious that they're choosing something. And so, like, I actually didn't realize at the time that there was a choice. And so I went with the kind of obvious answer. And like having read about it after and thinking about it a bit, I think I'm leaning more in the direction of like seeing what happens if you don't do that, or like if you do the thing that is like not necessarily what the game kind of wants you to do. I think.
For my own part, I've played these games enough times that I have all the endings. Like, the first thing I do is save scum all the endings when I start a new one. But there is still kind of in my head, one of the choices kind of feels like the one that was canon from, like, my main save, like the player that is, me, and not, like, some weird goofy gimmick build that I'm doing trophy stuff with. And I'm not going to say what it is for the third game because you don't know yet, but for the first Dark Souls, linking the flame felt like the right choice for that world, even if it was compromised. In this game, however, since I was playing this version of it and not the game as it was originally released, I think the Throne of Want is bad, and I don't want to sit in the chair.
Now, it's been a while since I was a practicing Catholic, but if I remember things correctly, and I think I, for the most part, do, sitting in something called the Throne of Want is what we would call a sin.
It's
And you usually don't want to do that.
counterpoint. It's been no time since I went on Twitter.com, and I just got a promoted ad for iShares. It says your investments have higher ambitions. Invest in something bigger. Be a capitalist and a crusader. And it's a shot from the ground photo of a lady boxer, and it's very odd, but if that doesn't tell you what you should do, then I don't know what will.
Oh, real quick. Oh, sorry. I thought you were done, Mo.
No, that was Niko.
All right. So real quick, just to explain what's going to happen here. Like, the reason Nishandra couldn't go and just sit on the chair herself is because she didn't have the Giant Lord's soul. So us going on like a little time travel journey and getting that has made us good friends of some golems that are standing over there, because the golems are imbued often with giants. So they'll help us sit down if we want to.
Oh, is that what the giant souls do?
That's the trigger that I had forgotten what the specific trigger to make Nishandra start showing up here for a fight, and so there was a little bit of stress on my part because I wanted us to do the Watcher and Defender fight and not Nishandra yet, so that we could do Nishandra and Aldia together. I think they pair nice.
So what happened? What would happen if I used these souls? Would I not be able to sit on the throne then? I'm not gonna do it.
No. Those we could use. We would get a bunch of cash for them. It's okay to do it now because Hollow Vendrick is dead. But if we didn't have those and tried to fight him, his defense gets cut in half for each one that we have.
Oh, okay.
So if you use those, you can really screw up that fight.
Oh yeah.
It's interesting. I kind of wish they had those canonically be the things that lifted you to the throne, because the item description on them is so like good for that. Because it's basically Vendrick like took the giant, like fought the giants in a war, made these golems like in their image or like out of them ? And like it was really, it's not good. Like the things that Vendrick did with technology relating to the giants, pretty messed up.
Yeah, that's the description of the Giant Lord soul that you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those four souls were like, oh, will they like, is it resentment for the throne or like something else, right? And like just putting them in the like fake giants and letting those ascend you to the throne is like, first of all, big king move. That's definitely what a monarch would do, but that's also why we shouldn't become a monarch.
What if you?
Yeah.
What if you can turn a monarch into an anarchist? Isn't
question. That just what happens if you just choose to not become a monarch?
I think that's why. That's my.
You turn around and you spray paint a big anarchy symbol on the door.
We'll just do a 360 and walk right out of the room.
That's my
American Idiot starts playing, and
that's my temptation of picking the Black Eagles. It's like, what if I could make Edgelord an anarchist?
But you got to reform the system from within. With the golden deer. So I think you just gotta leave.
It sounds like everyone is in favor of leaving. Am I getting that correctly?
The game asked us if we wanted to sit in a big chair, and we appear to have said, I can't.
Yes, that seems fitting. No, I'm with it.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad for once we're all in agreement about something. Because
what's
it's our
overrated?
playthrough, you know?
Yeah. Chairs are overrated.
If it was a big donut, on the other hand, maybe. But you know what? Fuck a monarch. Let's go.
Fuck a donut too.
No.
Listen, what? Why you? No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna
Oh shit! I left the crown on my head. I should have taken that off before this cutscene. Oh, whatever. It looks nice, even though it's now just.
It's just a tiara now.
Yeah.
I will say that.
There is no path.
Whoa. Oh, this is so anime.
Our beautiful girl.
I will say that the way your character walks out of the kiln of the first flame in Dark Souls 1 is like the jauntiest strut. I love it so much. But that ending doesn't.
The anarchist shuffle.
I can't have some minor key hella for all energy right now. Is something I'm gonna
Oh
say.
my god. Yes.
Well, she's literally a queen killer now, and
Yeah.
also
I
a
mean,
king killer,
Austin
and also,
Austin has said many times that
Ushered
like
in the era of
Hyrule
Dark.
is very much inspired by Dark Souls 2, right? Like,
I don't know. I've never. Well, I think that's probably true, but I haven't. I couldn't point to a specific.
Credits,
That's
baby.
credits, baby.
I will say this: having
Dark
played
Souls
this
11
game, having played this game around the time that I like listened to those first seasons of Friends at the Table, like Dark Souls 2 is the closest
Oh, definitely.
of the Soulsborne
Uh-oh.
games
All right.
to
so
what
time
Hyrule
to
does.
reload into Majula, and have 45 minutes of discourse because we're at an hour.
Yeah,
and
we're
15
just-
minutes.
I mean, we're basically making a podcast at this point.
Yeah,
so.
and we've got some questions that we need to talk
People have
about.
already watched us and listened to us for 75 something hours at this point. I'm sure another 45
Yeah.
minutes is going to be okay. I feel like we didn't really go over the entire story, but I feel like that was a pretty good lore conversation, at least. That was something we
I
talked
think we
about
can-
maybe wanting
yeah,
to.
we talked through the choice. I think
We can
not that-
circle back on. I have the questions that we talked about to go through. Once we load
and I
back
also
into
would-
Majula.
I would
and
also
think
say
we can all
that-
touch
that-
on them.
This game in particular, like one of the things that makes this game quote unquote controversial is that it isn't as lore coherent as Dark Souls 1 certainly was.
I don't know why the credits are
Yeah, the
flashing.
video
Sorry.
share is-
I disagree with that sort of I think that I don't know that it's not as lore coherent. I think it's just I think the reason people didn't like this game is because it was such an intentional departure from the things that people loved about Dark Souls 1 in a lot of ways. Because Dark Souls 1's lore isn't exactly clear. It's just less...
I should clarify that when I say it's not coherent, I don't mean to say it's bad or unintentional. I mean more that like Dark Souls 1 places things in a world that feels like everyone has lived in this space the same like you see the same names show up in certain areas and infer meaning about that place in a history that is like within some span that is recent, whereas in Dark Souls 2 you are going to Lord knows where at Lord knows what time, and it is like I think purposefully like timey-wimey in a way that like Dark Souls 1 really isn't.
Yeah, I mean, I think the timey-wiminess is intentional, 100%. I also think there's an interesting read of Dark Souls 2 as like a rejection of colonialism while you play as the colonizer, which is interesting. I don't know if other games do that. I'd have to think about that take more.
Bastion, maybe?
Bastion?
That was always my read of Bastion.
I haven't played Bastion.
You haven't played Bastion
since
Mo!
No, hold on. Since I started thinking about video games critically.
Okay.
I played Bastion and I was like,
yeah.
this is fine. This is a shooter game with a funny narrator guy. Like, Bastion never did it for me. In a couple ways.
I feel like I played Bastion at a time where I didn't really think about games critically, and I still feel like I got it because it was so well done.
Yeah. Like,
So-
and I think Bastion, like, captured that honestly, and I felt this maybe more, like, Dark Souls 3, I don't want to spoil it, but I will say that, like,
You can spoil
Dark
it.
Souls
It's a
3, I am...
2 years old game.
No. Dark Souls 3 is a game that I have not played yet, and I plan to play.
Exactly, yeah, so I'm not going to
do
spoil
not
Dark Souls
spoil
3. I will say that, like, I felt more... Of the games that I played, of the endings that I chose, I mean, this one I think was a very obvious ending. I think the endings in Dark Souls 3 are less obvious, but I felt more convicted with the choice that I made, having, like, known what the options were.
I think that some of the most, like... one of the things that I like about this game is that some of the most...
It's a really good song.
pertinent stuff, I
I like
guess.
that it gives you the credits
is
for the
not,
Scholar of the First Sin,
like,
and then gives you the credits
critical
for the
path in
original,
this
and the
game.
names are largely the same.
Like, it's a lot of stuff that you can miss entirely. And I would have to go look at, like, a Vatia video or or the, like, H-Bomber guy, like, recap of the story to catch all the stuff. But, like, I just remember when I was, like, deep in the lore of this game that it's so much of the, like, really meaningful stuff is, like, hey, that, like, lamp over there, that's actually, like, a secret lamp that if you had known these two references from Dark Souls 1 type of thing, which I don't know, I think that's cool. Especially
I think it's cool for the people who
time-
enjoy digging into that stuff, right?
Given,
Like, and you can also fully engage with the game and enjoy it without digging into it too.
yeah,
The
definitely.
patroclipic method of...
Yeah.
Yeah, both are valid.
I mean, this game, one of the reasons this game is, like, or has been on my list for favorite is I think this game has some of the more interesting environments in a vacuum. Like, I love I love the depths and, like, the Black Gulch conceptually.
Mhm.
I like them within the sort of surface level lore of this game. But they also are not like the Tomb of Giants, Bed of Chaos. Like,
Yeah.
they're not as
Well,
like I said, right? They're not as coherent necessarily. They're just sort of
from a
cool.
map perspective, one of the things I love about Dark Souls 2, and I guess we're in the Dark Souls 2 best game question that when we were before this recording we talked. Can you maybe just skip out of this credits at this point, because it's very flashy on my screen.
I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna try and fix it in post.
Okay.
I wanna let it go. So
No, I
feel free to talk
understand
and just not look at the feed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can, like, black screen it. if
Yeah,
it's-
I'll just
Yeah.
click on Sparkle.
I can maybe take another recording of the credits and then just.
Yeah, no, I
overlay
understand.
it
I
over
just
this.
switched to a different. It was just making my eyes hurt.
Yeah, I understand.
Weirdly, it's flickering, but the frame rate in the corner of the screen is always fine.
Yeah, it's just
Very
It's
confusing.
something is bugged. I don't know. Anyway,
Discord doesn't
Aphids.
always play well.
if this is
with
the worst
games
bug we
from-
encountered in this game,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so we were talking about stuff before we started recording, and one of the things we wanted to hit on is like what on favorite FromSoft game, because I think for a bunch of us it's Dark Souls 2, and we all have different reasons for that. And if it's not Dark Souls 2 for any of us, definitely speak up. But one of the things that I love in
The
contrast
Bloodborne liker has logged on.
Yeah, I think
if
I
y'all
think you're wrong,
I'm
Mo.
not gonna say Bloodborne.
Blood Vials, bye,
And? So what?
bye.
The Catholic
Grinding for Blood Vials, bye.
bringer upper has logged on to say that sometimes the suffering is the point.
Best, and also the best fight in. Here's the thing: the best fight in Bloodborne is the second fight in the game.
That's also
such
not
a lie.
true.
That is such. Oh my god.
There's no better fight than Papa.
No,
There's no better fight in that
Just
game
take-
than Papa Gas.
You picked one of the few hills I will like absolutely
Anyway,
die on.
moving on. The thing I actually wanted to talk about is, and we can circle back to your bad takes in a second, is the notion that you said that regarding the map between Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2. Something I like about Dark Souls 2 is the discourse that the fact that the map didn't make sense in like a Euclidean spatial way made people very annoyed. I loved that because it's like, yo, you're in this weird purgatory. Like, maybe reality isn't what you think it is, and I really enjoyed that.
Video games are
As
hard to make, and they went with the levels that they could finish.
yeah, but even as like that being a feature, not like a constraint, is something I really like messed with. Anyway, I feel like I stepped on some people who had strong feelings about Bloodborne. Papa Gas till I die.
Oh, that's what he's
I mean-
for.
Yeah.
Also, this isn't even the thing that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to at least give like a just overall impression of DS2 and talk about this game.
I think, well,
So-
and to that point, because this is related to like why it within the Dark Souls entries, like why I think Dark Souls 2 isn't ultimately my favorite. In part because while I like a lot of what it does, I think there are moments where I could see how they could have made it connect environmentally to enrich certain things I really liked about the environments, but just aren't done, and it feels diffuse to its detriment rather than as like a benefit in those moments. So this is specifically things like there's a room in like Aldi's things where like Aldi's Keep to me is such like it's one of like my top areas all time. Like I love it. The like menagerie, the like all the implications about like the research and the interactions with like Vendrick and the behind the scenes
What
stuff.
if a mimic was really big?
That stuff is like phenomenal, and I don't think other Dark Souls games have like hit that type of area as well. But there's also a missed opportunity for me there where it makes not a lot of sense for me that the gutter is under Majula when it could have like been under Aldia's Keep. And like there are enemies placed in Aldia's Keep that have that direct connection to enemies you find in the gutter, and like there are things you find in the gutter and Black Gulch that are consistent with that type of interconnectedness that I think you can infer because, again, to quote Bonfireside Chat, right, timey-wimey stuff is happening. But I also like knowing that this team can build those environments with the right time and resources, like it's a little on the like, okay, side for me.
Yeah, it does feel like this game kind of went for variety and quantity, to an extent that like is cool. Like I appreciate like how I can spend 2 hours in a zone and move on and like just end up somewhere completely different, like to even greater degree than Dark Souls 1. So to like obviously the big sort of discourse around the map design with 1 to 2 was a lot of people who loved 1's very 3D vertical map layout, very interconnected, very 3D Metroidvania style. I would say, did not make a return for Dark Souls 2, and by and large seems to have not really made a return at all, except for like a couple of like mind-blowing shortcuts that you have in games like I think Bloodborne and Sekiro each had like a couple of those moments, but it wasn't as common as it was in the first like third half of Dark Souls 1. I think that that's okay. Like I don't need every game to be the same map and like the same layout, and I really appreciated it for what it was, but I think that the conceit would wear out if every game was that. And also the only way that worked was for there to be no fast travel for the first half or so of Dark Souls 1. And I think that like that was a cool thing because it sort of forced you to say like, oh, if I want to get from here to the other side of the world, I actually have to hoof it there. And so that's a big deal. I have to kill everything along the way or try and run and not die. And then shortcuts matter a lot more than when you can just fast travel anywhere at any time. And I think that like those two things together made that work really well. And I can't imagine a world in Dark Souls 2 where like you don't start with fast travel, because you would go down toward the forest of the giants, and then you would kind of be done there for a while, and you'd be like, okay, well I'm gonna, I guess, go back to Majula and level. I guess run all the way there. That sucks. And then I'm gonna head down to the Hyde's Tower, and then I'm gonna turn around and go back to the forest, and I have to run all the way over there, and they're not connected at all. So that just doesn't really work out. So that's kind of like how I read those two different games and how they decided to approach map design. And I don't have any problems with 2. I definitely thought that there were more moments in 1 that like really blew me away. And that's something special. But I don't think this game is like not good because they didn't do that, right? Like I think that it still stands well on its own with its own take on map design.
I know you've said that you're probably not going to do 3 for a while, but is there, given what you don't know about it, I'm curious as to like if there's anything from this game or from the first Dark Souls or whatever that you're sort of hoping they'll either find their way back to or maybe expand upon, or like is there anything?
I thought that the both the depop mechanic and the like the ability to respec, I think that they added a number of nice quality of life things. The depop mechanic especially is like a thing that would maybe sort of go against the spirit of what you might expect from a Dark Souls game, in the sense that it's like if you're working on a tough boss and you are dying a lot and you need to keep repeating that run from bonfire to boss, and the game finally like takes it easier on you and is like, okay, you know, you've been doing this enough times, you don't need to kill every single one of these enemies every time. We're just going to let you focus on the boss and not waste your resources and not pay that tax. And I appreciate that, in the sense that like those runs can get long and repetitive and can be very soul draining if you're just stuck on a really hard boss and you just want to practice it, but then every single time you have to do 10 to 15 minutes of killing goobers along the way. Those are the two things that jumped out to me.
I like my counter argument to that is like, in some ways with Dark Souls 2, that mechanic felt more like an add-on given how bad those runs were, rather than something that was like intentionally meant to ease the burden on the player. Because in a good boss run, you don't have to kill like 20 like big firebow friends to get to Smelter Demon, right?
Or the boss is balanced with the run up to the boss in mind, right? Like you're sort of expected to take all of the enemies that you need to kill and the resources you might expend along the way as just like part of your total resource usage, counting the boss as well. And I think that both of those are valid approaches. And then, yeah, whenever it's like a slog of enemies on the way there, and then it's also a really tough boss that can like two-shot you randomly if you just throw up a dodge or something, then that's
Hello?
not so good. Hello, can you hear me? Mo? Okay.
I think Discord had a hiccup.
Hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can. Yep. Or Niko's internet, maybe?
Yeah, can you hear me?
That wouldn't make the call go the way it did.
Oh.
We all disconnected and then reconnected.
Well, I didn't. Should I?
Can you not?
No, I know.
Can you not hear me anymore?
All dropped from the call. Let me do a thing really quick. Hold on.
Okay.
How about now?
Hello?
Yep.
Hello.
U.S. Central.
Can you all hear me now?
Yeah, we're good. U.S. Central did a thing.
Okay. Well, we can
US
just like
now.
clip that 1 minute out.
Okay.
What was I saying to wrap that up there? I was talking about
Cheddar cheese ice
shit, I
cream.
don't remember.
Estes
The run up,
tax,
the run up to the boss,
and
and Okay, so I think you were gonna respond.
I was just going to say, I have some strong feelings about Estes tax changes between Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. That is very interesting for this conversation, but I will not give you any preconceptions about Dark Souls 3 with regard to that, because that is something you should encounter fresh with no assumptions. But I do
that's
think
impossible
that
in the world of takes, but yes.
Well, right, but like I do think they do try to address some of those things, and there are ways in which I think they are successful, and a bunch of ways in which I think they are not. So I'm very curious to see how you feel about that, if and when you play 3.
You haven't had a chance to.
All I will
speak up in a
say
little
about Dark Souls 3 is that there are 107 rings in that game, and I know it because you have to get them all to get a trophy. And I did that because I don't know why I did
Yeah.
I mean,
I will not be doing that trophy.
That's all I'm gonna say about.
I'm gonna bring a very
Sparkle the Hedgehog.
basic take to the table. It's that Dark Souls 2 is the best FromSoft game. In any context, I will debate it, and it'll be tiresome for everyone involved. I love this game. It just hits me. It just does everything. It's expansive in a way that feels believable for a whole kingdom. It's so good. I love it so much.
Can I ask you something real quick,
yeah.
Mo? Was this your first Souls-like?
No, I played Dark Souls 1 before this.
Okay.
Yeah, I played Dark Souls 1 and was like super excited for Dark Souls 2 when it came out, and like took like a day off work to like dig into it and stuff like that.
I do feel like I've seen a lot that a lot of people like their first Souls-like is special to them. Maybe because that was the one at which they realized the sort of toxic mentality of like, it's so hard, you're gonna die, you can't do this. Was actually just bullshit, and that they were actually like very doable games, and you just had to like.
I had the opposite experience actually. So in Dark Souls 1, I broke the difficulty curve like pretty early in the game. And in this game, I had a lot more trouble like all the way through, and like, hey, we could still go fight the ancient dragon. I'm just saying. Like, if we want to make next week or the week after the finale, we could go do the damn thing. Because this game has some, and like, this game
dragon, quote unquote, helped us out. I don't know.
It's also a bad fight.
And quote unquote Jura did nothing wrong. Yeah, okay.
Jura didn't. You disobeyed his clearly posted signs.
Who is he to tell me how to act? I'm not attacking anyone who hits me with a minigun.
Wait! You're giving Jura shit? Oh God, Mo.
So to the thing,
give people who shoot me with a minigun shit. Yes. It's a
Sometimes
revolutionary concept.
You deserve to get shot by the minigun. That's all
I don't
I'm
know
saying.
about that.
I do.
Okay, well.
To a thing.
Mo is a fan of the hero's journey.
To a thing Niko said about the first. To a thing Niko said about people's first one of these games often being their favorite. My path has been a little strange that way. Just because I was watching them so much before I ever really touched one. But one of the things last year about Hollow Knight that surprised me so much was the way that both over the course of my initial playthrough and then for months afterwards and even still now, it kind of climbed into my heart in a way that the other FromSoft games haven't, even if I love them dearly. Bloodborne is never leaving my PS4. That is never happening.
The disc is just in there forever. You glued it
yeah,
in.
What if someone was like, you could have...
I chiseled it on there.
We'll DM you PT, but you have to delete Bloodborne.
That would require PT to be... Never mind.
No, that is a bad trade.
I think something that one of the Dark Souls 2, I played a lot. I was intentionally less reliant on wiki stuff than Dark Souls 1, which maybe is a reason I hold it more fondly. Because Dark Souls 1, like, I did the arrow thing to get the Drake sword, and then I just like beasted until I got Quelaag's sword, and then the Quelaag's sword completely breaks the difficulty of the game. And in Dark Souls 2, I did my like sword or my like shield and sorcery thing with like a fire longsword when I needed to do melee, and I think maybe it was more challenging in that sense. But I also did some stuff like I've told the story on the stream before how I cast a pyromancy spell that I didn't know the effect of, and accidentally killed a quest NPC and had to
Yep.
do that I had to do that quest on my second playthrough of this game. So like I think this game is just more memorable. Like its aesthetic works for me more, and it's also more memorable because of the experiences I had with it.
I mean, this will definitely be memorable for me.
Yeah.
Because this was a wholly unique experience, right? Like these games are kind of lonely a little bit, like playing them by yourself and it's just kind of like you against the game. And so it's been a really interesting experience playing it. But like with all of y'all and
Central.
Oh. Okay.
Better.
And doing that in such a way that like just having fun and shooting the shit and like I'm sure there were a number of times where I got nudged in the right direction or was given a tip or whatever that I maybe would not have figured out, maybe would have been screwed over by or what have you. I might have screwed myself on the Fume Knight thing by using the Python or whatever it's called in the wrong statue. And like so those are just memorable experiences or like things that I didn't necessarily have, but like I have a lot of good memories of the conversations we had and just the antics that we got up to. And it's also been really rewarding to like see us get better at doing this over the course of 37 episodes. And like I think if I went back and watched episode 1 now, it would probably seem a little bit rough.
I haven't
but we've
fallen
all
asleep
gotten
on
better
stream in at least 15 episodes. So I think we're going strong.
Yeah. So that's been really cool for me.
Yeah.
Peregrine, were you say something?
I was just going to say, I do have my very Peregrine-specific reason for why Dark Souls 2 is not my favorite.
Well, lay it on us.
You have to kill spiders.
So you all know that I have a fondness for creatures that maybe the rest of the world does not share.
It's actually that? Okay.
And, like, but for reals, though, thinking about it, while I like a lot of the areas of this game, I really just do not care for most of the enemy design. Like, both bosses and enemies, like, I can remember fewer...
I like that we fought a chariot, and when we fucked up the chariot, the horses kept trying to fight us.
There are definitely great moments in this game, but I can think of specific places in Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 3, and Bloodborne where, like, I would encounter enemies within areas where I would be like, oh, whoa, I don't want to approach this. Like, I, like, don't want to... Like, I need to observe this thing before like deciding what to do. And like that Dark Souls 2 to me has the least density of that. There are a few... I love the big millipede friends in Black Gulch, right? Like I love a couple of those moments, but they definitely don't hit. Specifically, I think this is one of the reasons why I actually really like Dark Souls 3 in a way that a lot of people don't, is because I actually think that for all of its flaws and faults, which there are many, and I agree with for the most part, it really does have like a very high impact of just things that made my like blood freeze in a way.
There is a whole giant dragon that we have not... If you want to go see
No, we've already been over this.
If you want to go
The only thing I like about that dragon doesn't manifest in any interactions you have with it.
What about interactions with our sword and their face?
No.
I don't come to Dark Souls to hit a dragon with a sword.
I feel like
that's what I'm
Cant
saying,
has
right? Like
earned her rest, and even for a goof, sending her to get fire breathed, sending her to face that thing is a rude send-off.
That sounds like a challenge.
Since the first dragon you encounter in Dark Souls 1, fighting dragons in Dark Souls games has never been an enjoyable experience.
You know, actually, I actually enjoyed the Sin fight. I think that was a fight that I really had to learn and dial in on the moveset, and I could feel myself improving in a way that I felt like most of the second half of this game, I kind of like picked up the fights very quickly and didn't need to force myself to learn in that way. So
Well,
But yeah,
we've been leveling. What are we ending at actually?
Oh, my controller turned off.
So while you turn your controller back on, I'm just gonna look at the things that we wrote down. So we had Dark Souls 2, how
That is a solid level.
Our recordings, gave us a new perspective on Dark Souls 2. We have Dark Souls 2 lore reasons, and we have cheddar cheese flavored ice cream. Those were my 3 notes. Those are my 3 of my 4 notes.
Something I wanted to bring up that oh god, it just slipped my mind. Just thinking about like some of the memorable moments and things. The ghosts that attack you was probably like one of the best fuck yous that I've seen in one of these games. And so, props to that. They were like, I want to say that I still think that the Hyde's Tower of Flame was still one of the most visually striking zones.
Yeah.
Of this whole game.
Agreed.
I really
Walking
enjoyed
across that big chain is one of the coolest visuals in this series.
Oh yeah. And I liked the dragon fly area.
Area.
I love the way the castle is designed. When you have to like guess which rooms you need to go in and like start shit in. That's one of my favorite parts of the game.
The cursed painting is honestly one of like these. We've said this before that these games are often funnier than they get credit for. That there is just a cursed painting that you can't even look at is hilarious.
Yeah.
And it's of the final boss of the game.
I mean, this is definitely the game that feels the most like Igavania in that way, right? Like it's got the fire zone, it's got the frost zone. It's the same sort of like incongruousness, but like satisfying variety that you get out of like Symphony of the Night or something like that.
It's the game of the Dark Souls series that you're most likely to fight a guy named Old Dracula in. Spoilers, I guess, maybe.
I also liked the characters a lot. I thought that like there was a lot more there in terms of like interesting variety of characters that had like a lot of backstory relative to DS1. So that was something that I appreciated. I liked more people coming back to Majula to hang out.
I'm not sure I really have some thoughts at the moment.
There was
I
something
mean,
that
I'm looking at all our numbers that we have spent so long making go up.
I could keep listing off the things that aren't in this game that are in other Dark Souls games that I miss, like the different bug varieties that exist in other Dark Souls games.
Listen, you're gonna get so many bug varieties in like a week. There's gonna be no shortage.
Bug murder is apparently
I
our
will
next
say,
project.
Niko, the fact that you brought up the ghosts is a really good example for me, because while the ghosts in this game are a big fuck you, and like it's kind of goofy and like an interesting challenge, like the ghosts in Dark Souls 1 scared me. The ghosts in Dark Souls 2 do not scare me. They annoy me. Like and that's a very key difference, and like kind of why I can't really get into this game as much as the other ones.
I was very tickled by the fact that the ghosts in that fog area do not show up in the Discord share.
Can I make
the white compression?
Can I make a request? And that request is that we, as the last thing we do, is we go and go hang out with the witches.
We're not gonna fight the dragon.
No, I get it. You're not gonna fight the dragon, and I will remember that. But we go to the witches in the front of the game, and we eat a soul vessel with them, and we put all of our levels into one stat and see how high it can go.
I mean,
I think it
they
can
go
go
to
up to
99
99
is the answer. but
we put it into 2 stats and see.
Okay. Int.
Int and
It has to be int.
And int and faith. We've done it, and now we're just the wise person.
After we killed that
We're
one
believing?
poor guy.
We join the witches, and we're wise.
I feel like it's in attunement.
An attunement.
We've forgotten how to do anything but spells. But we can do all of them at the same time.
We're champion of the spelling bee, baby.
Hey, remember that time I fought the pursuer like 7 times in one episode? do any of y'all have like favorite or really memorable moments from this series?
Ranch dressing.
Oh, Jesus
I will
Christ.
never think about the same way. Because that was an image that I posted in the group chat, not really expecting it to rate relative to other things we were already currently talking about, and it derailed everything for 2 hours.
Yep. We definitely talked about ranch for at least an hour.
Yeah, at least an episode.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite is still Yoder's.
Oh my god. Yoders.
Like that whole. Oh my god.
Let's go.
We had.
I like Mo's idea. Let's go make ourselves a little thinkier than we are.
We had
Let's just use life gems even when we don't need them.
We had some extreme food convos earlier.
You know what? Life gems can fuck off. Life gems are a bad mechanic.
I think that I agree with that. I also don't like consumable healing items in these games.
Well,
something
hello.
I loved about Bloodstained. Oh yeah,
Hello,
so something we should talk about. Given the fact that this is the last Dark Souls 2 episode. Probably within on the outside 3 weeks, probably the following week, we will be switching to the bug game, and I will be taking the controllers of the bug game. And in preparation for that, I have done a little Metroidvania journey, and in the past month, I've played Bloodstained, Time Spinner, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Dandara. And I'm feeling decent about where I'm at in the Metroidvania situation.
Hell yeah. Oh my god.
I love it.
The
reason I brought up
we can do it.
The reason I thought of Bloodstained is something I loved about Bloodstained that Dark Souls 2 doesn't do, is that when you die in
adaptability.
When you die in Bloodstained, if you have used potions, you get the potions back. It's not like in Dark Souls where if you use like a life gem and die, that life gem is gone. And that was such a small change that made such a big difference in like the enjoyment of the game, and like how easy it was to just like go all out against bosses, and like because of that kind of win some fights that if I was playing conservatively I might not have won. It was very cool. So I'm excited for Sparkleton to help me get the best possible build in Hollow Knight, and we do all the things and get 111%.
Are we gonna for the people watching, the reason Mo is saying 111% is that is one completion percentage point further than either my PS4 or Switch main saves.
Yep. That's the goal. 2,
are we starting from your save that we did a while back?
Yes.
Or are we running through? Okay.
Because that's the... So, I feel like I am representing all the people who played 10 hours of Hollow Knight and then fell off.
Yeah, I think if we started from scratch...
That was me initially.
I think if we started from scratch, we would just end up repeating those.
Yeah,
two
it would take us
streams,
take us 5 hours to do what we did in 6 hours, and it's just get
Yeah.
all the traversal and all the spells, and now I have to
Have a party.
explore and figure a lot of stuff out. And it's funny because of the way that you led me. So I played this game on the Switch and got to a point where some of the battles I just couldn't. I could just not do on the Switch controller, versus Xbox 360 or Xbox One controller. I do still have that controller, that drift issue with my Xbox One controller, but we
probably want to fix that. I hear Nintendo's fixing drifting controllers.
You just got to find one with which you're drift compatible.
I will probably.
Oh my god.
I will probably just end up using either a Wii U controller or
mouse
a
and
360 controller.
Wii controller. That's what you need.
Oh my god.
I would love it if you get
motion control.
You joke.
If you can get to 106% with the Wii controller, I will be out of my mind happy.
You joke. But if I could use what is the controller called? The stick and the thing?
The Wiimote.
Stick?
The
Wiimote and nunchuck.
Yes, if I could use that, I would love to play. I would play every game with the nunchuck controller.
You know that the Switch Joy-Cons pop out,
hands
right?
At your sides kind of thing?
Yes, I'm unbeatable in Mario Kart with that controller.
Strong words.
Unbeatable.
Just some casual, relaxed gaming,
Yeah.
Don't have to hold your hands in front of you. Just put them at your sides.
Yeah. Have them flop wherever they want to be. That's what
I did remember
call
the criticism
having 99 in adaptability.
Yes, and still only 10 spell slots.
Oh my god.
I did remember the criticism that I had for this game that I wanted to share was that, like, one thing that kind of bummed me out a little bit was how many of the optional boss fights, the reward for which was just another covenant. And given that I didn't really engage with a lot of those, like, I wish there had been something better behind those, or that they had just, like, not had as many extras in there, because I think that they probably could have pruned a couple of bosses and the game still would have been great. There's always going to be like the bottom 5, like the weaker stuff.
Mo is going to do whole entire boss fights for exactly 1/4 of 1 health upgrade.
What?
At least you use a health upgrade, though.
What?
Once you've done 4 of them.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, though, like,
4
honestly,
of them
like,
give you a 1/4 of a health upgrade?
No, you need 4 of them to get 1 mask.
Oh yeah, I got that. I think
You're talking about co-op.
In Hollow Knight, yes, the co-op.
Wait, what co-op?
Oh, wait, what?
This is Hollow Knight. We're talking.
I was talking about Dark Souls 2 and the covenants from
but, like,
optional bosses.
Yeah,
the counterpoint to which
Hollow Knight
was
doesn't have online multiplayer, but there are
a lot of boss fights for which the reward is minimal.
There are a lot of fights where the reward is important because health upgrades are super rare, but it still feels a little weird your first time through to spend like 2 or 3 hours on this boss fight, and when you're done you get the equivalent of a Legend of Zelda quarter piece of heart.
Right, and it's not the last one, so you don't actually see any immediate benefits. Yeah, that's fair.
We'll get into the ways that game is a little weird when we get there, but
but at least that still accrues to something, right? Like, because I didn't engage with much of the covenants in this game, like if I unlocked like the PvP covenant or something, then it's like, great, that is something that I will literally never use. In a way that is at least like, I don't know, I'm sure there are people out there who want to do that stuff, and then to that end, like, maybe that shouldn't even be locked behind a boss for those players. I would rather them just be like NPCs out in the world. So,
which they largely were in Dark Souls 1, right? Like,
yeah, and Bloodborne.
And it was a reward for discovery that at least you got to see a cool new spot, even if you didn't use the covenant.
Yeah. I probably have more thoughts. I didn't really spend enough time before the show, like, thinking through them and trying to, like, note things that I wanted to bring up. So, but but yeah, like I said earlier, I've loved doing this with y'all, and I hope that that folks who have been watching have also enjoyed hanging out with us and watching us stumble through this game and talk about food and other bullshit and stuff. It's been a lot of fun, and
strong, and now she's ascended to a level of intelligence that no human being should.
Yep, she's finally. I think also one thing I wanted to talk about a little bit. I know that we're now coming up on 2 hours, but I feel like we'll just kind of get all the topics we wanted to get out of our system and then wrap up. One thing I wanted to bring up was how long I had thought about doing something like this and just putting it off, both between not having the confidence to think that I could be entertaining on a stream or on a pre-recorded thing or like we're doing it, and also being afraid of the commitment of trying to do it weekly, and honestly, I think that the best thing that we did was to like actually make a schedule and plan to stick to it, because even though sometimes I did feel the pressure of like, oh crap, we gotta make sure we get our recording in this week so it's ready to go next week or whatever, and planning around vacations and other people like sometimes not being around on certain nights and whatnot. It did also keep the series with momentum that it maybe wouldn't have had if we had just been like, well, we'll just record or stream whenever we can. There's an alternate world where we maybe make it 5, 10, 20 episodes, but then it just peters out at some point as we lose steam. Something comes up and then we just don't really get back into it. The holidays obviously could have been a big killer for that, but we took a couple of small breaks here and there for other stuff, and it was great to just to kind of make that schedule and stick to it, even if it sometimes made it feel a little bit like an obligation or work or whatever, especially on the editing and uploading side. We're definitely planning on not doing that for the next series. We're just going to stream it live. We'll all be hanging out in chat and during the actual live broadcast, which will help with anyone who wants to just chat with us during the show and reduce the amount of like other work we have to do to put this up. So I will say that it's like, I think that doing the pre-recorded element helped us a lot with the quality. We were able to do better local audio recordings and stitch them together instead of using Discord's audio quality, and then also edit in the music and bumpers and stuff in a way that is just a lot harder to produce and have it look good when you're doing it live. You kind of just do it okay. So I'm like really happy with how everything turned out. I think that we've made something that I'm personally really proud of. I think everyone on this call would agree. And if you are watching this and you're thinking like, gosh, I've been wanting to do something like that, like all it takes is to just find some folks who want to do a show and say like, hey, let's do this thing. It'll be fun. And you'll have so much better of a time doing a show with other people and having people to bounce off of and keeping you like giving you energy while you're broadcasting. And even if 0 people are in the stream watching, at least the 2 or more of you are having a good time together. It can still be a lot of valuable and a fun way to play through a game.
Yeah, that's actually where for me, like, I do like solo streaming a lot during the day when my work is slow, or like streaming with like one other person. And when there is just like 0 people who are like active in chat, having someone you can just chat with is so key. It's less important. Yeah. Like, I can, if I'm like doing a solo stream and there's like 15 or 20 people in the chat, which realistically means like 3 or 4 people are like actually actively chatting with me, that's cool. But like when there's like, 6 to 10 people in the chat, which means like maybe one person is like paying attention, having someone to like just to like, so you're not just talking into the air is super helpful.
For sure. Sparkle and Peregrine.
This has all been very sincere, but Mo is posting Kingdom Hearts gifts in the...
I can't
we are nothing if not ourselves.
I can't is Aqua. That's what I came up with. I think it's true.
That's interesting that you think that. Thanks, Mo.
Peregrine and Sparkle, any thoughts on doing the show?
I guess for my part, shoutouts to Joel and a couple other people who I talked through, like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 1 before we started doing this, and kind of gave me an idea of how to help people have the best possible time with these games, which is kind of different for everybody. Like, sort of, different people get caught up on different things, and sometimes you just can't help them at all. We've joked about it on the show, but most of what I did for helping Peregrine through Sekiro was just listening to Peregrine frustratedly rant about stuff. Whereas for you, it was just kind of being a bit of a quest log and maybe giving some advice on fights here and there. Kind of trying to, like, since we were doing this over such a long period of time, at least trying to the degree that I understand the story of this game to convey some of it.
It's been 9 months since we started this journey. So, actually, longer than that, although we had a pretty long gap between episodes 1 and 2, so call it between 9 and 10 months.
But yeah, kind of feeling like I've managed to help, and also hanging out with you all has always been a pleasure.
I mean, for me, like, the most tangible thing is we've gone from having our Discord recording chat be a place to coordinate our schedules to me, like, panicked before going to a friend's wedding, venting in the channel about how I don't know how to do weddings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really has just become, like, this tangible, like, social element that is nice to have. It's the thing I always wished I could do with, like, a board game night, but without actually having to do the board game part, which is honestly never the thing I actually enjoyed in those types of events.
All you have to do is comment on this weird hot dog Niko posted.
That's if there's a better form of tabletop, I don't know it.
Yeah, well, I definitely think it's really cool that this has brought us all closer together. And yeah, so, like, anyone who's watching, I highly recommend finding some, asking some friends and seeing if they wanted to do something. Just it's been a cool and different way to play a game, and you don't have to worry about trying to be entertaining or putting on a show or, like, eventually turning this into something that you do professionally or whatever, right? Like, this is just a hobby for all of us. We're just screwing around. We're
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we're mostly doing this for ourselves and the small handful of people who have been on this journey with us and who have enjoyed the show.
And one thing I would say related to, like, having friends on stream is that even if, like, if I'm playing a game that I feel like I'm gonna have trouble with the initial learning curve of, that's the most time that I want to stream it and, like, or just, like, screen share it with someone, just to, like, while I'm, like, poking and prodding and stuff and, like, really feeling clueless, to, like, have someone to be a second pair of eyes and also just be there to chat with so I'm not getting discouraged is super duper valuable, and has led me to play some games that I might not have. I mean, Bloodstained is a perfect example. Like, I was having trouble with the first boss, and I got on screen share with like, handful of mods. I think Peregrine was one of them. I'm not sure if Niko or Sparkly were on that call.
I wasn't.
But I was having trouble with that boss and just plugged away at it, and I ended up getting it, and then that kind of unlocked that game for me, and I ended up having a great time with it. And yeah, like, having a friend to, like, help you push through the learning curve on a game you might be unsure about is super valuable for me.
Yeah, I did that for Joel in the final boss of Sekiro, and that was a lot of fun being on the other side of that, and rewarding to see him beat that fight. I had another thought there, but it's gone. So
I'm just staring at this gif of Aqua. She's been so good.
Any other, like, closing thoughts before we wrap this show up for good. I did have another like cursed food question, but I think I'm gonna save it for Hollow Knight.
Hit us
Maybe.
with it.
No, I'm gonna save it. It's a good one, and we don't have time to get into it, so I want to be able to get into that one.
I mean, I've been saving all my bug takes for Hollow Knight,
Yeah,
so
food, content warning, food,
content
and
warning
bugs.
for that entire series.
I think the name of the series is just going to be content warning, food, and bugs. Because there's no more accurate of a descriptor. I would just like to say that Majula is probably my favorite zone in video games. I love it. I love the music. I love the vistas. I love the hauntedness
You want to retire to there.
of it. Yes, I want to live in
Basically.
the shack that is currently in the right of the screen. I'll put a little air conditioner in the window and get my...
Just
Somebody,
kick.
well, somebody lives there. He's kind of a jerk, but that doesn't mean you can just take his house.
I'll build a... Okay, so you see where that stone...
Mo's gonna become king and then take it.
You see where that stone thing is? I'll build a thing up there and...
there's a lot of stone things.
I mean,
Mo.
we're looking at the castle there in the background. Like,
Listen,
kinda right
I'll
in the
have a
middle.
nice house in Majula. We don't... I'm feeling pressed.
I shall build a tower of flame.
Any other closing thoughts from y'all?
Good video game.
Yep.
This is the only video game.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I enjoyed it, but it was good, and it was a great experience.
I'm glad you I sincerely not being not like shit posting or whatever. I'm happy that you came away from this game, given the like length of it and the manner in which you were playing it, with like an overall like seemingly like pretty positive takeaway.
Yeah. It was tough. There were moments where I may have, like, if I was playing on my own, I probably would have gotten tilted and just been like, I can't do this right now. I need to walk away and, get under control, get calm, and then come back in fresh. But the 2 hours a week thing was tough. I think I did pretty well at like kind of generally remembering where I needed to go, where I had been, and things like that. But I do generally play these games over a much shorter duration, so that way I can keep all that in my head, especially since there's no map or anything. But yeah, and I think that like now having played it, I think I much better understand the context for why this game was so controversial when it came out, and why people like it and why people don't. So I think that's cool. Like I'm glad I've been able to get that appreciation for it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time to do the outros one last time before we switch to Hollow Knight. Sparkletone, where can the people find you on the internet?
I can be found on Twitter as @Sparkletone and on the Waypoint Discord.
Peregrine.
You can find me, Scholar of the First Sinning, over on twitch.tv/peregrine38, and watch me as I sit atop my throne of want over on Twitter @TerrificBroth.
And I'm Niko. You can find me hanging out on the Waypoint Discord, and you can follow me on Twitter, not being a monarch, @Corey Shaw. Special thanks to 2Mellow for all of his amazing music. It was like so cool that he let us use this music for the show, and he's really like, I'm really grateful to know him as a person and be able to follow his music. So if you haven't ever done this, even though you've listened to this intro or outro 37 times, please take a moment to go over to 2mellomakes.bandcamp.com, check out his music, maybe buy an album, maybe buy his whole collection. Support him. He deserves it. And also, if you've missed any of our previous episodes, you can find them over on my YouTube at bit.ly/NikoYouTube with a capital N and a capital Y, because apparently Bitly links are case sensitive. The more you know. Don't forget, next week we'll be jumping right into Mo playing Hollow Knight with all the rest of us hanging out right here on twitch.tv/waypointcommunity. We haven't figured out which day yet. I don't know if it's going to be Wednesday.
That's probably going to be a shifting late night thing that we'll try to give advance notice for
TBD
for people who want to
Yeah.
tune in, but
it will be roughly around
yes,
this time in the evening
yes,
at least.
It'll be late night
around
on the East Coast.
7:30
yeah,
Pacific.
7:30 Pacific.
Yeah. It sounds like we're trying to figure out between Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday what works the best for us, and we shall see. And we hope to see you there for those as well. Thanks so much for watching the series and hanging out with us. We hope you had as much fun watching as we had making it. This is Niko signing off, and all the chosen undead, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Mo doesn't get it.
Majula, we did it.
Mo should
All right,
just be
that's a
clapping
wrap.
right now.
Is there a clap emote? Could I have clapped? Oh well. Too late. All right, good show, y'all.